At the age of 17, I left education and I joined the forces. After a very, very short period of time, I mean something like 8 weeks, I found myself with a rifle on the streets of Belfast. It's unimaginable, really, isn't it? You're putting babies on the street. But you know, that wouldn't happen today, I don't think, but in those times that was acceptable.
Almost as soon after I got here, I got involved in running a youth club at the bottom of McClure Street on the Ormer Road. And that was very funny because it had a sign outside it that just opened it saying Mixed Youth Club. And what they meant was boys and girls. And what the local people thought it meant was Catholic and Protestant.
I lived in Mount Vernon, but my daddy always believed in taking us away every year. We had a caravan down in Newcastle, and we used to go at the end of June right through till September. Not only my family went, maybe 3 of my friends and 3 of their friends, so a 7-berth caravan, 25 or 26 people were in it. But I mean, my daddy always had a minibus. They called us the Waltons because anywhere we went, all the people would say in this estate, all the blonde hairs and the snottery noses all getting out with your water boots on, your hats and all. It was just, I mean, I grew up in a brilliant household.
Got my couple of green graph. Ní minic a tí daoine in ar sin tí siad get a bug fuil nar a garter, but nar tí tú lin mór folla a taf, yes, I'm a taf picture 3 trasna. Like so, current sé chinya sort of bhí seo go tú sin. She cost the syrup digging to you, agus go daracha as a bhí sé. Bhí in bhart maru. Just Kevin am just got suicide na daoine seo agus anchor a hana agus anchor na pollena. A bhí anto, it's just, you know, just tí tú seo an televis, and rud atá tí daoine seo an aird ar an televis, just, you know, go maith and said, oh my lord, yes. As bhí sé dír dúsa bhí sé dír cosla sin ach bhí defer an mar bhí seo a 3D an tam seo, like bhí sé os the core, bhí sé fear.
My name is Una Walsh. My birth certificate says Agnes. My eldest brother is Seamus. His birth certificate says James. At the time that we were christened, you couldn't register an Irish name in the Northern State. You couldn't call your child what you wanted to call it, because when they filled in the birth certificate, they registered as an English form.
In our home, when you looked out the window, you could see the sentry post at the mountain of Forkhill. Occasionally, there would be mortar attacks. So at our house, the big front window, if there was a bomb, it would wobble, and you know you would hear this large boom, and you knew immediately when it was a bomb. You could tell there was something so deep and bassy about the bombs window, and that, I mean, you kind of went, oh, there's a bomb, and then you kind of listened out for the news, but it wasn't, oh my God, it was kind of semi-normal.
Bas condiletra ma wahir, agus vi fua milchna eki publictory. Fua milchna. Nar eket Jerry Adams ar an televis dagat in Shamra. So sin ma wahir, mahar vi she in a publictor, you know. Agus ni roseg ma hegnam shain chidich. Ni roseg ma wahir. Gajig worship bas, gur session in a oglach, in ogli na hern. And said D company.
being on guard on Royal Avenue. A bomb had gone off. There was a lot of victims. But I remember this policeman coming up. It's remarkable how different people cope in different ways in order to survive in that environment. And I remember him coming up, and he, not to me, to the lad just a couple of people away from me. He said, you know, what's going on? And we said the bomb had gone off, and he said, do you need a hand? And we said, no, not as far as we know. He said, no, do you need a hand? And he brought out a baby's hand, which had obviously been blown off and sent up the street. I remember that. And he laughed.
Dungiven is predominantly and was predominantly nationalist Republican, and we had a controlled school here, and for people who don't know, that was a Protestant school where the Protestants all went to the school there. And on one occasion when one of my boys, who was aged 11 at the time, he went on an outing, and the controlled school and their schools were all going together. And he came in and he said to me, Mommy, he said, you will never believe this. The Protestants are just the same as us. And I mean, and I thought, here we are, and we would like to think that we were very liberal people and the children were brought up. And I thought, what have we done wrong? Why do these people, why does this child think like this? But it was because of the society we lived in.
My daughters have rewritten their history. I have no contact with either of my daughters now for quite a few years. They would say to me, why have you become a bigot? I was never a bigot, and I'm still not a bigot. I am what I am. I'm a loyalist, and I'm proud to be a loyalist. I will put my country, I will put my Ulster before my daughters. That is how strongly I feel.
We were worried sick really, because every time we went out the door to school and back, we were going to see them again. I was going to work and back, and I had to check the car, and each day, you know, you think, is this going to be the end? Because in those days, there were Catholics being shot almost just at random, sometimes twice a week, sometimes more. And we took all the precautions and all the rest of it, but at the end of the day, you know, we were living with this for years and years and years.
In Ian Vrigenis, Hossi Scafjogging Gulls Jack Chagas Ruddy Igsula, Vimisha Chagas Gaeliga Mask Nabrisunach in St. Keshada. Fitini on the Hulskull on Foster, Munchery Bunskola, Munchery Manskola. Haggis Wajan Chen Gudi Gar Harla and Dochan in St. Keshada. Agus near Liguis Jack Mudge in a Yeshin. Curshid Fogrians na Papari, Agus Furshid Munchery, Huis Jack and Shin, a file pie, V. Virginia, Ayana Gojonok, Agus Kudgeton and Munchery Shin is Doilum Gro Baokulash na Prisuni, and Shin and Fagar Curshid Jack. Stolum gro Kudjala gur ober aku gur doile a couple of pont aisle.
The very first year I had a group in the compounds and I had a group in the H blocks. I knew very little about what was going on. So I landed in the compounds to teach my students. I hadn't a clue about them. I really didn't know in either group what organisation they were part of. I later learned that some of them were Republicans and some of them were Loyalists. I knew nothing about them, but it was like they were very suspicious, and it was like going into a lion's den.
How far have we come? What have we gained after all that we came through? And in Dungiven, the police wouldn't have got out of their cars in Dungiven. You know, unless they had nearly an army backup or 2 or 3 cars, they wouldn't have walked the town, and they certainly wouldn't have been served in the shops. And I remember one of my sons, his girlfriend coming in, and she was from Ballymena, and the local butcher came in and said there was a you won't believe what happened today. One of the policemen came into the butcher shop to be served, and we said, what? He came into the butcher shop we don't believe you. He actually walked into the butcher shop. We said, we can't believe it. And the girl from Ballymena's sitting there. She's looking at us, and she says, was there something wrong with that? And I thought, what sort of a woman did this fella bring home to us? She thought she thought there was something wrong. There was something wrong, that it would have been all right to serve the police in Dungiven. And so now we have police, and we're involved in walking along with the police. So that's how far we've come, where police now can walk the streets of Dungiven. That's a big bonus for Dungiven.
Unemployment in our areas are ridiculous. The education attainment is really bad. The parents don't expect it of their young people. And that's really sad too. It's about getting young people and parents to push their kids. And I think then that's when things will change, because they'll have a better outlook in life.
Bhí Belfast ag an am sin ar mera. Bhí could war ahra go arrive, bhí could daoine Deutsche amach is cantar a wine agus a beg and dífa gothic cantar eile. Bhí rudí másca is ní ro Kenneal Lanarnachas gods in a country show who could war daoine is Jack la Chéile and Aichach a nua. Ní ro aithne achor a chéile, ní ro tradition ar bíon go hara cos le cantar cos le Coluia. Bhí seo fear olc sílam. An fact sin a dag sé ormsa, ken sé grach sé go dtí na tríogatí cos den a rudí a harla dú. Marial ar comera agus a bhí an haid an tromiacht. I bheith an bronach, the mé was sugam go roma wach a gulligal fríd na rudí a hui me héan frího. Now ag an am, the ar aihan me go roma gul fríd rud ar bí, but tas sugam go ro Jonachar mór ag sin orm.
And I came out of the house and there was like a tarpaulin type thing over the car. And I remember looking back, and at 14 years of age I learned hatred. I looked back and I saw that man's face and his head blown away. My brother and my sister were both with me that day, and it never affected them the way it affected me. Sometimes I wished I hadn't looked back.
It's very sad that we have wars, because in everything I've ever read, the way out of that darkness is through dialogue and understanding. And for me, the answer has got to be dialogue, because I know we're going to finish up there anyway. And then when I get to know my enemy, I discover my friend.
Aduaidh.